Hi everyone, I'm Wesley Gowell with Recreational Sports at the University of Michigan. Today we're going to be going through a routine for a strength-based workout during our current situation of being quarantined into our own homes for the next couple weeks. So, first thing that we need to do is get a proper warm-up in. We're going to work on our blood flow, getting into the lower body, getting it pumping throughout the rest of the body just by doing standing still marches, all right? So get those knees up nice and high. Think about really contracting at your glutes. So whatever leg is down on the ground, that's one that we really want to contract in those butt cheeks. So as that leg comes down, you can tap it. All right? So making sure that those are nice and tight. We're going to go a minute there. Afterwards, we're going to work on some mobility, a little bit of stability at the same time. So make sure that you have enough space out to your sides. We're going to get into a stretch for those glutes. We're going to grab a hold of our shin, try to pull it up towards our hips as high as we can get it, making sure that we stand nice and tall, nice and still, all right, not wobbling too much. We're going to pull it up, hold for a second, then we're going to come in to a side lunge. From here, we're going to then stay nice and low with those hips, shift our weight back over, standing up. And we're going to do another rep. So big stretch, come into a lateral lunge, keep those hips low, shift back, stand up. We're going to do 5 on that side, and then we're going to switch our direction, go 5 onto the other side. From there, we're going to hop down onto the ground. All right, we'll get into what's called a half kneeling position. One knee stays on the ground, other foot stays on the ground. So we'll get into kind of nice 90-degree bend in the hips and in the knees. From here, we're going to take our hands, we're going to try to place it onto the floor, making sure that our spine stays neutral, all right? So all the way from the base of our head down to our tailbone, we want to make sure that it's a nice neutral, maintains that good curvature. So as we come down, making sure we're going nice and slow, bringing our hands to the ground. If you happen to round at the back, try to get your hands to the ground, what we'll do instead, you can find an elevated surface, all right? Come forward and you can rest your hands on that, still making sure that we're feeling a good stretch coming into our hips here. All right? So, we're gonna come forward, put our hands on the ground, and if we need to, we can shift that back leg, that knee, back a little bit further to get a good deep stretch into those hips. From here, I'm gonna take the arm that's on the same side as our front leg, we're gonna lift it up, and then we are going to rotate our chest and that hand all the way up to the ceiling, staring at that top hand, and then coming back down. We're gonna do 10 of these on one side, then we'll switch feet, switch hands, and we'll do 10 on the other side, getting a good rotation through that spine. From here, we're gonna do shoulder taps. Now you can start off in a push-up position if you're able to maintain that neutral spine by keeping your core stable, nice and tight. If you feel like your hips are sagging and you feel like maybe the push-up position is too hard, then what you can do is you can stay on your knees as you do these shoulder taps. Otherwise, we'll get into a nice good push-up position, and then we'll go 1, 1, 2, 2, all the way up to 10. From there then, we're gonna come up to, if you've got a couch, a chair, or a coffee table that you can put up against a wall or somehow it just doesn't move, it's got a heavy enough weight to it. Then we're gonna do some glute bridges. We're gonna place our shoulder blades so that the bottom of our shoulder blades rests on top of whatever surface we're resting on, whether that be a coffee table or a couch, preferably a couch. From here, keep those feet flat on the ground. You'll notice our hips are starting down. We're going to drive those hips up into the air, nice and tall, maintain that neutral spine, so don't try to tilt your head forward, let it come all the way back. We'll be staring straight at the ceiling from here, and then as we come down, that head comes with the rest of our body. We're going to drive back up, coming back down. You're going to do 10 of those, and that's going to be your warm-up. All right. Once we're done with all of that, we'll move straight into our upper body circuit. First thing that we're doing is push-ups, all right? So if you can do push-ups, kind of like we had with our shoulder taps. If you can do them while maintaining that stable core in a good push-up posture, then knock those out, all right? But if you feel like that's too difficult, then find an elevated surface. Again, that can be your couch, that can be a coffee table, that can be a dining room table. The higher the surface is, the easier those push-ups are gonna be. So we can place those hands onto whatever surface, and then we can go into our push-ups. Likewise, if you feel like doing push-ups in a normal posture with feet and hands on the ground is too easy, then what you can do is now, keeping your hands on the ground, we can place our feet up onto the bench, still maintaining good spinal posture, and then we can go down into our push-up. For push-ups, we're gonna knock out 8 reps. Knock out all 8 of those. Then, what you're gonna want is a duffel bag, all right? A duffel bag, a backpack could work too. Just make sure that your backpack is zipped up. We just need something that's got 2 straps to it and that you can probably fill with some textbooks, a laptop, something that can add some weight to it. All right, from here, we're gonna get in what's called a hinged position. So we're gonna push those hamstrings, which are the back of your thighs, and your glutes, which is your butt. You're gonna kind of push those back, hinging forward. Think about kind of karate chopping right at that hip joint. Those hips shoot back, maintaining a nice neutral spine. From here, we're gonna have this weight out in front of us. We're gonna do face pulls. So starting by leading with the hands. Those hands come back as those elbows are starting to raise. We're squeezing with our scapular or shoulder blades into our spine as those hands elevate, bringing our thumbs up, and the hands should be in the same line as about eye level. All right, so when we come up here, bring those elbows so that our upper arm is parallel with the ground, and then right back down. The way to think about it is you're peeking into your bag, and then you're putting it away. Peek in, put it away. If you want to add a little bit of difficulty to this, yes, you can add weight by adding more textbooks, more laptops, a bag of flour if you really want. But another way to do this, and to get a little different plane of motion involved, as we come up, you can get into this position, push that bag forward, and then come back into our face pull position. So with that, we're gonna need some good core stability because we're now pushing the weight farther away from our hinge point, which is our hips. And that's gonna put a lot of strain on the back if we don't keep that core tight, all right? But if your face pulls are too easy and you wanna give that a shot, just reach as far as you can, even if that just comes to be a little bit farther out, it doesn't have to be a full extension. We'll knock out 8 reps of that. From there, we're gonna come back onto the coffee table, couch, chair, whatever you got, and then we're going to do body weight dips. So for this, if you want, for that starting position, if you want to go a little bit harder, feel like you can have your feet elevated onto another chair, couch, coffee table, whatever, as you're resting onto this position, all right? But I'm gonna recommend that everyone start with their feet on the ground and their hands up onto the surface, all right? A good position to start in is with those legs straight, heels flat, and we're gonna wanna stay so that our back is nice and tight to the bench. We're gonna come down, all right? Think about letting your back almost drag across that bench, and we're gonna get our elbows to about 90 degrees, all right? Don't go too far. We don't wanna go too far down. That's gonna put a lot of strain onto our shoulder joints. So instead, come down, nice and control, get to about 90 degrees, drive it back up. If this is still too hard for you to do, then what you can do, bring your feet in, put them flat on the ground so that those knees are bent, and then we'll do the exact same thing. So we'll come down, that butt's gonna sink, and drive back up. That's gonna make it move a lot easier now that we have some weight closer to our body. We'll do 8 reps there. So once again, you got your push-ups for 8. You've got your face pulls for 8. And then you've got dips for 8. You're gonna do 3 rounds of that, taking a 1.5-minute break in between each round. So as soon as you do your first 3 exercises, 1.5-minute break, do them again. Once you've done your upper body circuit, we're gonna move into the lower body circuit, starting with split squats. So with the split squat, we want to make sure that we keep everything from our torso up in a good vertical or upright posture, all right? So we don't want to be leaning forward or hunched over at any time during this. So what we'll do is we'll take a step forward. Think about a slightly longer step than you're used to, all right? But don't make it too long. You don't want to go way out here. At the same time, you don't want to take a normal step. We'll go just about slightly longer. Think about midway between those two, all right? From here, if you need to, you can keep your hands up, or you can place them on your hips, on top of your shoulders, wherever. Just try to keep them off of that front leg. Try not to rest those hands on your front leg as you go down. Like I said, we're going to maintain nice neutral upright posture as we go down from our torso up. So we're going to think about sinking that back knee down towards the ground, keeping that upright posture. You can either tap to the ground or just hover it above the ground, and then we're driving up. Think about giving yourself a 2 Mississippi count on the way down, and then hold it for about a second. So we'll go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, hold, then drive it back up. You can do 8 reps on each leg. And once again, if that feels too easy, what you can do to make it a little harder is elevate that back foot now onto another surface. Once again, coffee table, couch, chair. All right, just make sure that it doesn't have any wheels on it or that it won't move too easily, because as you go down, that's going to want to shift backwards. So get something that's sturdier that you can push up against a wall. So same idea, we'll keep the upright posture. Since we're going to be balancing mostly on one leg, it'll also be a pretty good stability workout too. You may feel like your balance is a little thrown off. All right, so that adds a little bit of difficulty to it. From here, same thing, coming down, 2 Mississippi count, hold, drive it back up. Same idea, 8 on each leg. All right, so you need to do a split squat with your feet on the ground, or you can do what's called a Bulgarian split squat, which is that foot or that rear foot elevated onto another surface. 8 on each leg there. Then we're going to move into our next movement, which here made a little bit of a modification, but what you're going to need is a towel and either a tile floor like a bathroom floor, or if you've got a wood floor like in your dining room or living room or kitchen, that would be perfect too. So what you'll do, this towel is going to be resting on the floor. You're going to put your heels on the towel, all right? Get this out of the way. From here, we'll lay back, making sure that our back is pressed firmly into the ground. We'll have our hands down by our side, about 45-degree angles, out, palms facing down. We're going to lift our butt off the ground, making sure that we're nice and neutral from our rib cage all the way down to our heels, all right? So making sure we're not arching that back all the way up, we're staying nice and neutral. Then from here, we're going to bring our heels in towards our butt, and then back out, all right? In towards our butt, and then nice and neutral, back out. This is going to work primarily those hamstrings with the back of your thighs, a little bit of the glute, and a lot of that core, trying to stabilize it, making sure that we keep a neutral spine as we go through this movement. So, 8 reps, once again, on here. From that, we're going to move into the next exercise, which is going to be a single leg glute bridge. There's 2 ways that we can do this. The first way I'm going to show you is going to be the easier of the 2. So, we'll start off on the ground. If you've got a mat, you can use it. Otherwise, I'd recommend being on some kind of carpeted surface. Typically, if you're on a wood surface, then your back is going to slide a lot. So find something that has some friction to it so you won't move around too much. We'll be laying back, same style as when we did our hamstring curls on the wood floor. But from here, keeping both feet flat on the ground, we're going to extend one leg all the way out, and then hands still on the ground, same position as before. We're going to drive through the heel of this left leg and bring our butt up into the air. Still using that core to stabilize everything in this belt area here. So we'll drive up, hold for a second, control back down. As soon as that butt taps the ground, we're shooting our hips back up, hold for a second, back down. And then once we do 8 reps on that leg, we'll switch to 8 reps on the other. If the 8 reps for that are too easy, then what you can do is go onto an elevated surface. So we'll get into a similar position. Those feet are going to be in the same position as if we were on the floor. Now we're going to think kind of mid-foot is going to be up against the edge of whatever we're using, whether that be a stool, coffee table, couch, chair, whatever it is, all right? That other leg is straight out, hands on the floor, and then we're driving those hips up as high as we can. You'll notice we can get a lot bigger range through this. So it's going to require a little bit more work as we use this. But same idea, hold for a second, control back down. As soon as those hips touch, we're shooting back up. All right, so once again, like our upper body circuit, we're doing 8 reps for all 3 of those exercises, from the split squat, the hamstring curls, and then the single leg glute bridges. And then we're going to do 3 rounds of that. From there, we'll finish off with core, all right? First thing that we're going to do is we're going to get to the edge of a coffee table, couch, chair, whatever, all right? We're going to use either a broomstick, or if you've got something like this, which is just a PVC pipe in your house, it's pretty cheap to get to, then we're going to place that right along the tops of our shoulders on our back. All right, so try not to get it too far up on that neck. Don't get it too low. We're just gonna rest it right on top of those shoulders. All right, keeping those feet flat on the ground. We're gonna get into a mini crunch here. All right, so we're actually gonna curve a little bit in the spine. So mini crunch. We're gonna lean back. All right, you'll start to feel some tension coming in to that core now. So from here, once we get that tension, we're gonna rotate our chest to one side. Hold for a second. Rotate. Chest to opposite side, hold for a second. That's 1 rep. So if we do 1, 1, 2, 2, all the way up to 10 reps, all right? So not only are we working on core stability by holding that position, but now we're working a little bit of rotation, getting into the external and internal obliques on the side here. Once you've done your 10 reps there, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna move to the floor. And we're gonna do dead bugs, all right? So if you have done a dead bug before, you'll kind of know this is a wacky looking exercise. If you haven't done one before, we'll tell you here. It's gonna look kind of funky, but it is great for strengthening and stabilizing your core. And if you think about your core rather than just your 6-pack muscles here, called your rectus abdominis, think of it more like a giant WWE championship belt. It comes all the way around here, all right? So that's your core. We want to make sure that we keep good stability there for our spine. So basically what we'll do, once again, if you've got a mat, you can lay on that. It'll be a little bit more comfortable. Otherwise, for this one, you can go onto a wood floor, carpet surface, whatever is more comfortable for you. All right, we're going to be laying on our back. Arms are going to go straight up into the air. We're going to have our thumbs pointing back. And then we're going to lift our feet up in the air. We're going to go 90 degrees at the hips, 90 degrees at the knees. All right, from here, we're going to smash our low back into the ground. I should not be able to get my hands underneath my low back. If I can, then I'm not engaging my core. It's disengaged instead, and I'm going to get a very bad arch into that low back, and it's going to start to hurt. So smash that low back on the ground. Don't let your hand come underneath, and hold that position. From here, we're going to extend one leg and then the opposite arm. So if I start with my left leg, my right arm is going to go back. I'm going to bring it back as far as I can. Bring it back to the center. Come back. Bring it back to center. If that feels too easy, then the next step up would be taking both arms with one leg. So if I extend my left leg again, now both arms come back, and then they come back to the center. They go back, and then they come back. All right? It's going to add a little bit of extra weight when you come back. It requires a little bit more core stability as you go through that movement. You're going to do 10 reps, and by 10 reps, that's going to be just like our rotations, where it's 1, 1, same thing. One leg out is 1, and then the other leg out is also 1. So 10 on each side. 3 rounds, as usual, 1.5 minute rest in between each round. So that is going to be your at-home quarantine strength workout, all right? Try to get this in 2 times a week, and what you can do now is that first time you do it, do your 3 sets of 8. Second time you do it, you can also do 3 sets of 8 if it was difficult, all right? And then that next week, bump it up a little bit. Try to do 3 sets of 10 of everything, all right? And then for both sessions. And then the week after that, bump it up a little bit more. Instead of going 3 sets of 10, go 4 sets of 8. And then the next week, go 4 sets of 10. That way you get a good progression. You're still maintaining and working on developing that strength, even without having any of the amenities that we have, like our machines or barbells or dumbbells at the rec center, all right? Please leave comments. Let us know how it went. Stay fit.